Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, guys. Who are the 49ers? Part 4. We're coming, guys. I got my man Nick. I got my man Wayne. We're going to get to all of that, but I have to go through the formalities first. This is your first time here checking us out on the YouTube page. We want to thank you guys. We humbly thank you guys. We appreciate all of you guys just taking your time out to watch and listen and everything. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. All right. It is very important that you guys tap that button so you know exactly when we're going live. Make sure you have your notifications turned on as well. Hit us up on our social media pages, our Twitter and our Snapchat. It's Nothing But 9ERS on Twitter as well as Snapchat. We have Facebook for you guys out there who can't stand the Twitter. Facebook has a strong following out there, over 12,000 people in the community. Make sure you're not the last one to join, okay? Nothing But Niners are spelled all the way out. It's also the same thing on Instagram. And let's pretend you forgot everything I said. Guys, don't worry about it. We got you covered. Go to our website. It is www.nothingbutniners.com. It's going to show you all the social media avenues. It's going to show you the different articles that we have up there. It's going to show you our podcast. The podcast is popping again. We just uploaded 2 podcasts yesterday. So for those of you who start watching these videos, they're too long and you can't finish, don't worry. We got you covered. We convert them into podcasts so you can go back and take a listen. We got a new intro also. If you know what the new intro was, let me know what you heard, all right? If you know what it was, let me know, all right? I want to let you guys know that I appreciate you guys checking us out. Also, you're going to see a page dedicated to you guys, not us, to you guys, every 49er fan out there. If you are a 49ers fan and you want to be on our website, send your images to nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. Images, videos, whatever it is, all right? You putting someone in a headlock because they're an opposing opponent that day, your car decked out in Niners gear. I saw somebody in the Corvette with the helmet. I see y'all, man. Your pets, your children, yourselves. It doesn't matter who it is. Even your work desk. Let us know how you repping in the office while you're on the clock, all right? Send it to nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. Last but certainly not least, our Payroll is there as well. I don't have on anything NB Niners today, but if you guys have seen the past videos, we got the George Kittle, we have the birth of a dynasty, and we have some other things in the works for you guys coming to you very, very soon. That is currently the way to place your order, so let us know what you guys are looking for. Send it all through email right there, nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. Let me bring in my man, Nick. What's going on, Playboy? How you doing?
Bang, bang, Niner gang. What's going on, faithful?
You got on the jersey like today's game day, man. What you doing over there?
Yo, I'm going to the grandparents for some lasagna Italian cooking dinner tonight. So, I got to represent going out of the house. It's football Sunday, even though it's our second time this year having to wait 10 days for some Niners football. But either way, loud and proud, baby.
I like it. I like it a lot, man. I see you lounging in the chair, kicked back, all relaxed and reclining and everything. I need to get me one of them. All right, Nick, I see you. But I got my man Wayne in here. I typed in the description, the NB Niners hype man, Wayne Breezie. What's going on, baby?
Knuckle up, put them up, guard your grill. What's good, John? What's good, faithful? What's good, brethren? How y'all doing, man? I can't wait to talk 49er football. Got big game, Monday Night Football. That's the wrong theme song. My bad. Whatever. I forgot the Monday Night song. It don't matter. Let's get it popping.
Oh, yeah. We here, man. And I can't wait to bring you guys a preview show for that one. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of energy. And the best part is when we're doing these videos, it's trying to keep it all contained. There's so much we want to talk about concerning that Seahawks matchup that's coming. But we're sitting here like, we got to wait. We're still doing the compare and contrast. We're halfway through the season, and we're comparing the 2018 team piece by piece to the 2019 team. So far, we have covered both aspects of the defense, the passing game, and the run game. Today, we're flipping it. We're going to the offensive side of the ball. So we're going to start with the passing game, all right? So, fellas, just quick, without even knowing, which passing game do you think is better, last year or this year?
Oh, this year, by far.
I think it's last year. We haven't really thrown the football that much this year.
Aha! Now you guys are talking, and I'm gonna tell y'all why both of y'all are right. We're gonna get to it, though. I promise. We're gonna break it down. Both of you guys are absolutely correct, so that's why this is gonna be a lot of fun. Wayne, I think you have some of the numbers over there for our total yards and all from last year. So
I do.
So let's kick it off with that, and let's do a compare and contrast, man. Let's have some fun with it.
All right, so let's kick it off with let's start with our reserves that played more last year due to injury. So let's go with CJ Beathard. His total yards, he threw for 1,252 yards. Completion percentage 60.4. He had 102 completions on the season with 169 attempts. And his rating even though he was sacked 18 times and threw 7 interceptions, his rating was 81.2. That's a decent. That's like if I had to give it a grade, that's a B.
Yeah.
Minus. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll go to Nick Mullens. Nick Mullens had 274 attempts, 176 completions. He threw for 2,277 yards.
Nick Mullens with the 22 burger over there, right?
Yes, sir. He threw for 13 touchdowns. He had 10 interceptions on the season. He was sacked 17 times. But his rating was 90.8. So last time I checked, that's an A minus. Wait a minute. These are our reserves. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is in 2018. I don't know why I'm hyped about 2018, but I'm hyped. All right. And then let's go to the king, Jimmy Garoppolo. We know he was injured, week 3, I believe it was, Kansas City game. Up until week 3, though, 53 completions, 89 attempts. His completions percentage was the lowest of the 3, 59.6%. But his quarterback rating was 90.0, A minus. So even in Jimmy G's first full-fledged season of this offense, you see that he was grasping it, and he was probably going to light some defenses up. But due to injury, we couldn't really get to see what happened. So those are the stats that I got from last year. He had 718 yards, by the way. I don't think I gave his total yards.
All right, Nick, man, your thoughts? He gave you the numbers over there. The totals would be 3,867 yards. The Niners didn't throw for 4,000 last year. 26 touchdowns and 20 interceptions in total. The team finished a combined 6.7 yards per attempt. Nick, what were your thoughts on the passing game last year, man?
Well, I mean, you really couldn't get a grasp on it last year. I mean, with the amount of changing of quarterbacks that we went through last year, the first 3 games until the third quarter with Jimmy Garoppolo, and even those 3 games, Jimmy Garoppolo did not look really, really good. Then you moved on to CJ Beathard, another guy who, when he has the ability to throw the football, he's really, really good. The problem is putting that pressure on him. He doesn't really have that good of pocket awareness. And took a lot of sacks. Then you have Nick Mullens come in. He played a couple beat up defenses as well, including, just the complete devastation of the Oakland Raiders last year. Helped,
annihilated those boys.
Yeah, with that 34-3 win victory. But most of all, I mean, you really couldn't get a grasp on what the passing game was last year, right? And then that goes into this year's, which is kind of the same thing. And we'll talk about that. But you can't get a good grasp on the passing game. But the overall numbers for the amount of attempts and things like that, they do kind of stand out to you. Like Wayne was saying how, Nick Mullens had a 91 and CJ Beathard had almost I believe it was an 89, 88 point.
81,
yeah. So, you look at those numbers, but then you have to also look at attempts and things like that, because they obviously didn't play an entire 16-game season. And when we talk about these numbers, we can compare a 16-game starter to a guy who started 8 games, and the 8 games guy had lesser attempts but was more successful with those lesser attempts. Mm-hmm. And statistically, he had a better year than the guy who threw for 16 games. So numbers are kind of a true, a street of things to where me personally, when I'm matching numbers for number, I need to match the same amount of games to the same amount of games. And, they do that on the NFL. They do that on the whole entire NFL. They say, with a minimum of 5 starts or a minimum at 7 starts. They compare quarterbacks at those type of rates, or receivers, or whatever it is on the field. So to say completely what I thought about the pass game last year, it was doable. You know what I mean? With what we went through. I expect higher numbers than that, though, for a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that we were all a little bit disappointed, and that's where the concerns came in from Jimmy Garoppolo. The previous 5 games of his career with the 49ers, people were hyped. They knew we were coming in here. We're going to get a 5,000-yard passer. He's going to torch some teams. We knew he was going to put up some points, but he was also going to turn the ball over. That has remained consistent with Jimmy Garoppolo. But that 3-game stretch, I mean, let's be honest, he went up against some of the tougher defenses that year. Until Detroit got figured out, that first the first 7 or 8 games of last year.
Yeah.
Detroit with that new head coach coming from
New England
Patriots.
Yep.
Yeah, they were tough on defense, and then we know how the Vikings finished, right? So Jimmy Garoppolo really got kind of the short end of the stick, so to speak. He didn't get to go up against the easier competition, but you can't pick who's in front of you, right? We wanted to see more success. We saw, like you guys all just narrowed it all down right there. Nick Mullens came in. He was a serviceable guy. Wasn't going to light the world on fire. CJ Beathard held on to the ball too long. He had his ups and downs. Was last year the Giants game that Beathard had a good game in? Was that last year or the year before?
It was the year before.
It was the year before. Okay. But we've seen Beathard have his moments where it's like, oh, there might maybe be something there. And then there's other times where it's just like, why is this guy out there, right? But let's talk about some of the comparisons. We're gonna go down to 2019 now. I have the numbers here. We've only had Jimmy Garoppolo, so all these numbers solely belong to him. He's at 1,753 yards, so 1,753 yards. He's got 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 7.3 yards per pass attempt. So that's a lot better than the 6.7 last year. Before we continue, happy birthday to Miss Debbie Ryan.
Happy birthday
over there. If you guys have a birthday out there, you guys got to let us know. And I'm going to give a special shout out to my daughter, whose birthday is also today, my baby girl Zara, my oldest daughter.
Happy birthday, Zara.
She's going to see the video because she got a tablet today, so she's watching everything. So she's going to see the video later. Happy birthday, baby girl. And happy birthday, Miss Debbie, also. Top Hat Deb, that's my home
Top
girl.
Hat Deb.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got a quick question for you, Mike, before you continue. Can you quickly break down, because Garoppolo played 3 games, and I know we can't really compare because he didn't play the same 3 teams. But can you give me the first 3 game stats on Jimmy Garoppolo for this season? I just want to see what the numbers and comparisons are
for this season or last season.
For last season, he only played 3 games, so I gave you his numbers. It was like 59 for whatever. I'll give it to you again, but I want to know what he did the first 3 games of this season. I know we ran the ball heavily, but I just want to know what his stats were, because remember his first game back, he was, it was his first game, like, you know what I'm saying? Like first real live game that counted. So, they probably didn't go pass heavy right away. So I don't know if that's how Nick was saying he likes to compare games to games, amount of games played. I want to know if that might be a factor, if we could kind of break that down too.
All right. So week 1, we played against Tampa Bay. I'm going to have to do some calculating over here. Give me a second. All right, here we go. He passed for, and these numbers look pretty low. Not gonna lie. All right, week 1, he passed for 166 and 1 touchdown.
Okay.
1 interception. Week 2, it was 296 with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. So that we're up to 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions so far.
Wow, Jimmy, he had 3 touchdowns in that Pittsburgh game.
Yeah.
Man, we had so many turnovers.
Hey, look,
I don't think we paid attention to what really went down.
Exactly. He had a rating of 131. You got to remember that's the same game where 2 of those turnovers weren't his fault. They came off of people's hands. Right?
I know. It's just wow. Wow. Okay.
Let me see here. I'm sorry, that was a Bengals game, and then the Steelers game, he had 277 yards,
277. Wow.
For a touchdown and 2 picks. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. So that gave him a total of 739 yards,
which was more.
That's more.
Hold on. That is. Wait. Say what was the total number?
739.
739. He was 21 yards more in these first 3 games. Jimmy G has been right on target.
Mm-hmm. He had 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
He had 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. His numbers are damn near the same. Come on, man. Mm-hmm. I know Cat's still sleeping on Jimmy because he ain't the Giant didn't awaken him yet. But listen, man, it's all a process, brother. You know what? Kyle Shanahan has been a godsend to this 49ers organization, and I just don't think we truly appreciate and understand what we're going to have for the next 10 years to come, yo. He's young. He's I'm sorry. Go ahead. Back to the show. My bad.
It's all good, man. It's all good. So we have the numbers here. He's on pace for 3,506 yards. So that would be a decrease in numbers. And I asked you guys before we started here if you thought we were better or worse, right? Nick said, I think we're worse. We're not throwing that much. Wayne said, I think we're better. But here's the difference. The 26 touchdowns is dead even right now. That's exactly where he's at 13 through 8 games, which would finish with the same 26. The interceptions are projected to be lower at 14 instead of 20. That's an improvement. And then the yards per attempt, Jimmy Garoppolo right now is at 7.3. That's not going to change through the projection. So my question is, just with Jimmy Garoppolo, does he beat the numbers from last year or not? And I told you what he's on pace for, 300 lower. But we also have to take into account the type of opponents we've been playing, the type of leads we've had, us not throwing the ball because we're not battling as much. You know, we were able to run the ball. I mean, when you put up 51 points on a team and they only have 13, no matter how you look at it, at some point you're up by 2, right, Nick? So we're not throwing the ball a ton. This competition should get stiffer throughout these next 8 games. We got Russell Wilson coming in here. We got to play him twice. They put up a lot of points. I think they're third in scoring in the NFL. You got the Saints coming in here. You got the Packers coming in. I mean, we're going up against the Ravens. We're going up against the Ravens. They put up points as well. Jimmy's going to have to throw, right, Nick? So is he going to surpass this 35.06 that he's on pace for?
Well, like you said, he's only behind the 8 ball right now from his numbers last year projection-wise by 300. And you look at the Saints game, the Baltimore game, and possibly the Green Bay game. I think those are going to be 3 air raid games for both teams. I think it's probably going to be back and forth. You know, but it really comes to a key as into how this defense plays. And that really is what is putting on the shoulders of Jimmy Garoppolo having a 4,500-yard, 5,000 season is how well the defense plays. And I know you say, well, why does it matter how well the defense plays? Because Jimmy Garoppolo plays on the offense. But
I get it.
I get it.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general, people will say, well, what do those two have in common? Well, the factor in it all and the common denominator is if the pass rush gets to other teams' quarterbacks and keeps the score down low, Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have to throw the football that much. And that's the byproduct of what we've been seeing. We've been seeing the fact that the defense is getting home, they're making plays, and we haven't really had to have quarterbacks throw. I mean, we went on a 3-week stretch without allowing over 100 yards for passing quarterbacks. You don't have to throw the football 150 yards in a game to win that game, as long as your run game is productive. So, for the factor of Jimmy Garoppolo breaking the records I think he will do. I think he'll be on the same path as next year. I don't know if he's going to go. He's not going to throw for Drew Brees numbers, 5,000 yards, right? He's not going to throw for, I don't want to say 35 or 32 to 35 touchdowns, right? I think he'll be in that 26 to 30 range, probably, 14 to 18 interceptions, possibly a little more. I'll go 14 to 20 interceptions because Jimmy Garoppolo is a gunslinger. He does make some bad decisions at times. But like I said, it's going to come down to what this defense can do. This football team is going to continue to win football games, whether it be by little or by a lot, by the way that this defense takes us. If this defense makes us, don't get wrong though, because that Arizona game, we had to throw the football and we threw the football. But I just don't think there's going to be that many games. Like I said, those 3 big games right there, Green Bay, New Orleans, and Baltimore, are probably going to be the next 3 that we really have to throw the football. And maybe Arizona again. Maybe.
Go ahead, Wayne. Your thoughts, man.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with Nick. I think that the numbers as far as yardage for me, I'm not too much concerned with that number, whether he reaches the projectory goal or not. If his interceptions are down and his touchdowns are up, I'm witnessing the emergence of a progressing player in this offense, in this system, on this team, and that's what I care about. Like I just want to see Jimmy get better so that Jimmy doesn't make those bad decision throws, which he lately he's been progressing. So I think if we absolutely have to throw the ball the way Nick was describing in those games, then yeah. But you know what, Nick? I don't even think we're going to have to throw the ball as much in those games. You know why? You said it. Starts with the D, the defense. The defense has been dictating exactly what the offense needs to do to sustain the win. The heart of this team is based on the D. I know this is not a defensive show, but that's what we're scripting, guys. So when the defense is tired or if the defense is gassed, then you see your general come out on the field and do what he does, right? He came out and just started throwing the ball and accurately. And I think with all that, that is going to continue the passing game to rise. You also got him a couple of better pieces. You got him a Sanders. You bring in a Sanders. We talked about this on the wide receiver show. I don't know why I didn't agree with Mike, but damn it, it was changing up the way shit was going down. Sorry. That we got better. We got Sanders, we got better. Did the plays change? I don't know. Don't care. All I know is we started catching balls that we weren't catching before. Stop laughing, because you know what I'm saying. But that's what I mean. He's on bearing injury. Jimmy G is only going to continue to progress. That's it until he reaches his peak and starts going down in age. I think we have that quarterback to run this system for a while. And I know cats want to see the big numbers, the big passing yards and all that type of stuff. That's just not what we have to do or who we have to be right now. But if we had to, I think Jimmy G could throw for 4,000 yards. I think Jimmy G could throw for 35 touchdowns. I think Jimmy G could throw less interceptions. I think it could be that. I know it could be that. It's shown. We've seen sites that it could be that against good defenses, against good D. I'm paused.
All right, so let's talk about the top 5 targets of last year, okay? Now, I don't know if you had those numbers put up over there, Wayne, but I got some of them over here.
Yep.
I don't have total yards, but I have receptions. The top 5 players in the offense last year, based off of receptions, were
I'm with you.
Number 1 was Kittle. He had 88 receptions. You got his yards over there?
I do have his yards. He had 1,377 yards. But get to that number 2 name. Hurry up.
Most for a tight end in NFL history.
Number 2. Yeah.
With 42 receptions.
Yeah. Was
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy everybody wants cut. Everybody, except for these 3 right here. Maybe Nick. But everybody on this show wanted him cut. And all I kept saying was he was a target. And he was catching balls. And he had 487 yards.
400.
And he had 4 TDs.
487 with 4.
One less TD than George Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
One less.
Number 3, listen. I love this dude. Number 3 was Juice, Kyle Juszczyk, with 30 receptions.
324 yards.
324.
1 TD.
1 touchdown. 1 titty. All right. Number 4 was Matt Breida, but he also tied for number 5 with Pettis, Dante Pettis. They both had 27 receptions.
Right. But Pettis had 467 yards and 5 TDs.
5 team lead.
5 TDs and tied. Well, for a receiver. Got you. And Breida had 261 yards with 2 TDs.
Okay. All right. So, Nick, we know some things have changed already. We've had Juice not in the mix, right, due to injuries. We've had Breida in and out of the lineup, and he's alternating with Coleman and things like that. We've seen Pettis go through his slump, right? And Bourne, he's way down on the depth chart, man. He's battling it out over here. What stood out to me when I saw this list was that there's no Goodwin on here. Where was Goodwin all of last year? It's kind of crazy that Goodwin didn't make the top 5. I wouldn't have thought that just looking at the team last year. I felt like Goodwin was a little more integral.
He missed like 6 or 7 games with that concussion.
Did he miss last year? That's crazy.
And he had the family stuff too, right?
And then the baby
stuff
and all that. So he missed a lot of games last year. But you know what's interesting about that list? There's only 2 wide receivers on it.
Oh, and the top 5. Yeah. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Bourne and Pettis. It was what we had, bro.
Right. Exactly. It's what we had. It's exactly what we had. So that
go ahead.
So that is like scary. It's scary. And
you know what's crazy about that though,
I'm
Nick?
just saying about Bourne, like he's the leading receiver, and where's he at now?
Oh, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it.
I'm saying, like, where's he at on the depth chart? Like, I'm not saying that you can't put this guy on the field some more, but where's he at on the depth chart right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what my downfall is with Kendrick Bourne. You had your opportunity last year. You did what you needed to do, but you still can't overcome what's on this roster now. That has been my argument for Kendrick Bourne the entire year.
But can then give me I want to hear this roster when you finish talking because I'm an advocate for Bourne, and I believe it's because of the other targets. It's he's not being targeted.
Right. Because Bourne has come in, and anytime they call his number, he answers, right? But the thing is, you have a Pettis that they want to make something out of. They're gonna try to make him work. He's a draft pick.
Right.
You go out and you also draft a Samuel. He's going to come in and he's going to get snaps over the undrafted Bourne also. Then you trade for a guy like Sanders. You know what I mean? Like these are all guys. Every time one of these acquisitions are made, Bourne just naturally
shot down. And you still got Goodwin, right? And so, like, I mean, I don't know. Is it that hard? How hard is it to make the team when you're undrafted? You know what I'm saying? But then you got to face all them devils, right? All them things against you. Like, so I think last year Bourne did what he had to do, and I think this year Bourne's still doing what he has to do. He just it's like you and me and you know what I'm saying? Like it's tough.
So let me ask you this, because we're talking about receivers right now. You say that every time that somebody comes in that's drafted pushes him down, right? But we've literally had people not make this team that were drafted.
I think what we're saying is they want to see what I think we were trying to say, or at least what I mean by that is that I want to see what in the heck I got with my draft pick, like Dante Pettis. Like I have to put him in this offense because I drafted him, and I need to see what is his return before I decide to cut him, because I can cut him because I got a Bourne. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think
the other thing is there's not a single wide receiver that's been drafted that has not made this team. It just hasn't happened.
But I'm talking in general. I'm talking in general. Your play ability in practice and games should have nothing to do with where you're drafted. We've talked about this, Mike.
We have talked about it. We're not going to agree on this. It's going to be a little circle here. We're not going to agree on it. People who get drafted get privilege over people who don't.
That's not true, because we have undrafted running backs running the football, and we had a drafted guy who got kicked off this team. They have put it off to 53.
Yeah, that's the one guy that got
Jeff Wilson.
But it happened.
No, not Jeff Wilson. It was he had the really generic name, Williams. Right. He couldn't grasp the playbook. But see, that's the exact opposite.
Yeah, I remember now.
Right. It's the exact opposite with Bourne. Bourne has come in, he's made the team, he's outperformed all the other wide receivers time and time again. He's clutch. He has the least drops on the team at the wide receiver position, and his yards after the catch are also good.
And he still has some value because they ain't cutting him.
Right. And like I'm saying, I'm not arguing. Right now, I think Kendrick Bourne should get more opportunity over Dante Pettis. That's me right now. I've come a long way on that. But I also want to see why Kendrick Bourne isn't being boosted above them. Because to me, it goes back to the way that I've said before about Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch or whoever. You put the best player on the field.
All the time.
We're going to get to it. Bourne has been on the field, actually. He's actually been on the field more than any other wide receiver this season so far. But it's about the receptions and stuff. We're going to get to that. He's actually not as far down as you think he is. So,
okay.
We talked about 88 for Kittle right now. Okay. Hello. Okay. This is weird. You better not piss on me again. I don't know.
Baby.
I think she got away from my wife because my wife wouldn't let her just come in here. She just walked in. Kittle is on pace. Right. He currently has 46 receptions, but he's injured. He's not going to play on Monday night. That's me saying that, not an official report that I read anywhere. That's my thoughts. So that 46, you double that up, it's 92. I think he's in jeopardy. I do think Kittle's in jeopardy of getting that 88 receptions again. But he has 541 yards. He's on pace for 1,082, and we'll see what happens with that. Number 2 on the team right now with receptions is Debo Sanyo, who leads the wide receivers with drop passes, but he's at 22.
Okay.
This shows you it's not about performance. This is their guy that they drafted and invested in. He's going to get those looks. He's going to get those opportunities. All right. Then you got Matt Breida. He's third on the team with 14 receptions. Okay. Now, there's a long list of players that are tied for the next amount of receptions, but in order of yards as a tiebreaker, number 4 is Marques Goodwin. 11 receptions for him, 362 yards. I'm sorry, he's on pace for 362. He's got 181 right now. And then Bourne, also with 11, 158 yards. Okay, 306 he's on pace for. Also tied with those two guys are Pettis as well as Samuels. After only 2 games, Samuels already tied. And this goes back to what I was saying. They bring these guys in, and boom, the pecking order changes. Now you're pushing these guys down more. Bourne hasn't dropped the pass since Samuel's been on the team. He hasn't. But yet here he is already with the same exact amount of catches or receptions, I should say, as Sanders has through just 2 games. And so I can't sit here and openly say, it's because he's not good or he hasn't earned it. He's doing everything that they've asked him to. But we see these numbers here, guys. And now, Nick, if we do this top 5 and exclude the 2 guys that are tied, it's kind of a switch up. Now there's 3 guys in the top 5 that are wide receivers. How cool is that? It shows you the difference in the offensive scheme that we're running here this year.
Yeah, we're trying to get the wide receivers involved a little bit more this season, and they are. They're being involved in different types of ways. It's not all deep passes down the field. Some are shovel passes. Some are. It's just very creative and schematic ways to get these wide receivers their receptions, their yards, and it's kudos to the coaching. Which wide receiver do you guys feel will lead this team in yardage and receptions by the end of the season? Which wide receiver?
I'm gonna say Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, looking at these last 2 games, I hate that to be the truth, but I don't see.
He has like 200 some odd yards receiving with 2 touchdowns already.
And then he came in week 7. Wow.
Yeah, Sanders is already he's got 137 yards, 2 touchdowns already in just 2 games. It's insane. Like, it's just, all right, here you go. Take it and go.
But again, the funny thing about that, Mike, is he's not being force-fed. He's getting open. Like, he's not like a guy who's getting force-fed the football. Like, let's look for him, look for him, look for him, look for him. And making throws where he's not really open. I mean, pretty much every one of his throws, he's been open.
Nick, go ahead.
I was going to say, he has been open, but it doesn't mean he's not being force-fed. We've seen Jimmy come off of a wide-open Pettis. Remember that play the interception play to Kittle? The interception play to Kittle, right? He looked at this was against the Panthers, the Kuechly interception. He looked at Pettis. He had Pettis open. Pettis had his guy beat. He came off of Pettis and looked and threw it to Kittle.
Right, but that's not force-feeding Emmanuel Sanders. I'm talking about Emmanuel Sanders himself.
I'm giving you a separate example of saying that just because that doesn't mean that Sanders is the only guy open. That means that he can be looking for Sanders in a play. You said it as if the other guys were open, they'd get the ball. Not necessarily. We've seen Jimmy not throw to other open guys for his preference and who he's throwing the ball to. That's what I use to. You get what I'm saying? I just use that as an example, not saying that Sanders play in particular. I'm talking about we've seen Jimmy come off of open guys and throw to his preferred target instead. So I can't say that they're not force feeding him, but if you're going to force feed a guy, I'd rather be somebody that's wide open like Sanders is being. So I'm not trying to diminish Sanders at all. I thought that we didn't need a Sanders. He came in here. He completely changed my mind in 2 weeks. I
don't think I've seen in years on this team a wide receiver that can get open every single damn play like that. That's amazing. And that could be like the reason why our wide receivers are struggling with receptions, are struggling with things, because they just can't get open. And that could be a reason why a lot of these interceptions and turnovers happen as well from the passing game. And that was one of my arguments about the reason why I thought Sanders made us a better offensive juggernaut. The fact that he can get open. Now, my question is, what happens when he starts demanding double coverage? We should, in theory, see the receptions go up for a Pettis, a Debo, who else we got? Pettis, Debo Goodwin. Hopefully he's still playing. And the other receivers on the team. Oh, I thought Mike was raising his hand. He was kissing.
Nah,
yeah.
Sending my daughter out. My bad. My apologies.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is like the receiving yards for this season overall should be greater than what they were last season, especially if you include in the kiddos, the running backs, all those type of things, because that's just what we're doing this year. We have not been a heavy, I'm going to throw the ball to Michael Thomas type team. That's just not our game. But with having Sanders now, you are seeing a receiver that can get open, and that's my thing. We just haven't had the receivers that can get open. Maybe a Taylor. Maybe that's why Jimmy liked to throw to Taylor a lot, even though they call offensive pass interference almost every other time he got open, which was bull crap. And I know we've seen it every single other time he got open, but I think that's why he felt Taylor was that guy. It was his go-to guy. We're starting to see that Sanders might just be Jimmy's go-to guy, and that's going to be go-to numbers, and that's going to make things rise, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, every quarterback has a go-to guy. So, you know, no matter where you're at, you're going to have a go-to guy because it's a guy that you trust the most with his hands, his ability to get open. It's
Correct.
The whole number one wide receiver type thing, right?
Correct. Correct.
You have Julio Joneses, you have Michael Thomases, you have these guys that you're going to try to go to on those crucial downs. And,
Correct.
you know, you've even heard Richard Sherman talk about Trent Taylor. He's one of the shiftiest dudes and always gets open.
Always.
Like you heard Richard Sherman say that. You know, so that is, I think, a benefit of why we were throwing to Taylor so much. And Taylor coming out this year, whether people want to believe it or not, really still does hurt our offense in a way because he is still a legitimate piece of this offense. You know, we were touching on Bourne and we were touching on Pettis and we were touching on those things. I think right now, even with Samuel, I still think he brings a lot of versatility to this team with the most drop passes or not. He runs, you know, a lot of like reverses, things like that. He gets open. He's a physical receiver. He's going to try to get those yards after catch. And I think those are reasons why he's starting right now. He is that versatile guy, just like, you know, just like Matt Breida is, and just like Tevin Coleman is, their versatility. Even George Kittle, you can go and say his versatility in run blocking, his versatility in pass blocking, his ability to catch the football, the ability after yards after catch. So I don't think it's just draft position that is pushing these guys down the depth line. I think it's just we're getting guys in here that have versatility and show it on the field. And like you were saying earlier, Mike, it's crazy that last year we only had 2 receivers. This year so far we have 3, right?
But it's a long tie for 5th because we were talking about just receptions. And everybody that's tied for 5th is a wide receiver. Goodwin, Bourne, Pettis, and Sanders. All of them already have 11. Last year, it wasn't like that.
Right.
Because next on the list for this year is Coleman. But after Pettis last year, I believe it was another running back. So it's a completely different thing. You know, it's about using the weapons that we have. You know what I'm saying? So you said that you think Samuel is out there for the diversity. Now, he's got twice as many receptions as Sanders so far. Do you think he holds him out? Do you think he holds on to lead him with receptions for the wide receiver position?
I'll tell you what. I think it comes down to probably between those 2 as receivers. I'm not going to talk about Kittle, but between those 2 as receivers, I think it's probably only a 10 to 15 swing at the end of the year between one or the other in receptions.
That's deep. That's deep.
Because, I mean, we got to look at it this way, too. I understand that, look, that touchdown throw or pass to Debo Sanyo last week that he missed in the end zone, he was wide open, and he missed it, right? But the difference is he's a rookie, right? So we're talking about the difference of drop passes and things like that.
He's a pro, though, Nick. Hey, man.
No, you're absolutely right. He is a pro. You're 100% right.
And he's a wide receiver. So his best attribute minus speed, I mean, other than speed, should be hands.
Right. But hear me out here. We're talking – this is a good problem to have. We're talking about a rookie who has such amount of receptions, right? And he has some drops. They're going to come. We've all talked about this. Receivers are going to drop some balls, right? We said Michael Thomas drops balls. Julio Jones drops balls, right? We all talked about this. But you just said one thing that I don't agree with. Well, he's a pro because everybody and us, not us included, but some of us get on Jimmy Garoppolo about some of the things he's doing, but he's a pro.
Yeah, but I mean, throwing interceptions and dropping passes is two different things.
No, it's not.
It most definitely is.
But if you think
you drop a pass, you get another chance. You throw an interception, you giving momentum to another team, bro. That's totally different. That's totally different. Give me a different example. I'm not buying that shit. That I can't. That's totally different.
But why can you compare one guy?
I can't compare what they do. I can compare guys. You talking about the result. Now, if you said Jimmy G fumbled or something like that, I mean, even that's hard to compare because he ain't causing the fumble. Like, look,
I think this is how you guys sum it up, right? When Nick, you're saying that you can't say he's a professional, you can't be upset with the drop pass, but when you say, "Oh, you got to catch that," that means that as a professional, you're supposed to execute whatever it was that we just all side at.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Interception's a little different, double coverage, tip passes and all that. That's all. But that drop pass in the end zone where he was wide open, I kind of agree with Wayne on that one. You're a professional. You got to catch that one. You live to fight another day. Don't get me wrong. And we scored on that drive, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
But you got to catch that one.
But I'm just asking why, when I would say that, when I use a different receiver, it's a different story with people that I'm talking to. I've said that about Kendrick Bourne being wide open, getting hit in the chest. And it's like, well, receivers drop passes. It happens. But now that we're talking about Debo against Kendrick Bourne and drop passes.
Nah, the difference was, Nick, is that he was wide open in the end zone.
Kendrick Bourne, when it hit him dead in the chest.
I'm just saying, that's the difference. Like, one was for a touchdown, one was for a first down. I get it. It shouldn't make no difference.
Right. It doesn't matter where it's at on the field.
I know. Receivers, I say if the receiver touches the ball, my coach used to say, if your hands touch it, you catch it. Like that, whether it's behind you, in front of you, underneath your legs, if you touch that junk with your hands, you're supposed to get a grasp on that ball.
But
I said that, right?
I know.
No one has excused Kendrick Bourne for his drop passes. In fact, the narrative of Kendrick Bourne is he seems to drop the easy ones and catches the difficult ones. No one excuses Kendrick Bourne for dropping passes.
Same thing Debo does, right?
That doesn't exist. The narrative that doesn't exist. No one has ever excused Kendrick Bourne for drop passes.
And you know what? Debo got that same.
Nobody.
Debo got the same narrative.
Will defend him to the T.
Debo got that same narrative, guys. He catches amazing passes, and he's dropping easy ones. It's probably because they play Madden against one another and they spend time together. So
I was just asking because when I asked about that before, I didn't get the same type of response. He's got to catch it because he's a pro.
I know. I said that. I know.
I'm just saying in general.
Oh, then be specific about that, because when you talk about us, I know I said when we used to get on Bourne. It's nothing we could say when a receiver drop a pass. It's even worse when they drop a wide open pass. So the only thing we can say is got to catch it, and hopefully they get the next one, right? That's all we can say. But yeah. I know you, me, and whoever and everybody in this group has been saying, yo, he's got to catch those balls. He's got to catch those balls. He's got to catch them, and he has been catching those balls lately.
and he has. And I already said today that I think he should be getting more play time than Dante Pettis. I've said that. So,
but you know why he doesn't? Because you said it. Because he doesn't have the versatility as what Dante Pettis has. And that's why Mike was saying that his name gets kind of pushed down on the depth chart, because he can only be utilized in certain ways. Kendrick Bourne reminds me of Crabtree. That's who he is to me. Like, I'm not saying he's better. I'm not saying he's worse. He just reminds me, you catch the ball on a slant, make one person miss, he could take it, some yards. He's going to drop passes. He's going to, that's exactly who he is. Whereas Dante Pettis, though, got this wiggle in him, man. Like, if he could make the person miss, man, like, he could be electric. And that's probably why he doesn't get those targets more than Pettis. I'm thinking. I don't know. I ain't the coach.
I can completely see why Shanahan is finding it so hard to give up on Dante Pettis. If that guy can get his hands on the ball, he can do some really fun things with once he gets the ball in his hands, man. He's once he gets it together, watch out, NFL.
Right.
This wide receiving core is going to be scary.
Right.
Whether Taylor, we already know Shanahan flat out said Taylor's not coming back this year, but hopefully next year. So he's giving him a roster spot again already. But you got Trent Taylor coming back, who's a short-handed guy, a chain mover. You got Debo Sanyo, who's going to be fun, physical. And something that we didn't talk about with Debo Sanyo is his 5 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown already this year. Nick talked about how diverse he was, and that's why he's out there and all that. He talked about that diversity, which is leading to him getting more touches. We didn't even talk about that. He's already got 37 yards on the ground and a touchdown already. Just carrying the ball. This team is special. I mean, I like Sanders. All right, maybe we got to get a guy to replace Sanders or someone to step up in his place, but if it could be heard, if Pettis can just take over what Sanders is doing for whatever it is, man, this wide receiving core, man, and we're talking about the tight end here. We're talking about a whole bunch of other stuff that can be factored into it. This is a special, special team, man. I'm excited for it. I don't think we're going to catch the numbers from last year. 38-67 is what it was. Right now we're on pace for 35-06. I do think Jimmy beats that 35-06. I think we start passing more these last 8 games. I think we see Jimmy start to come into his own. I don't quite think we're going to get another 300 yards on top of that. So I could be way off. You guys let me know what you guys think on it. But this is a fun exercise because it makes you realize how much the team has changed. Just listen to the top 5 from last year: Kittle, Bourne, Juice, Breida, Pettis. You got Kittle, Samuel, Breida, Goodwin, Bourne, and then Pettis, Sanders, all tied right there for the 5th spot. It's a completely different ball game. I can't wait to do this with the running game. You know what I mean? Go ahead,
It's
Nick.
scary that Sanders is 5th on a list with only 2 games.
That should be scary. That's scary, bro. That's scary. Because I said that. Imagine him day 1 in this offense.
But you know what else? And I hate to say it, but I think his success here right now is going to have a big factor on if he wants to come back here or not next year, as well as the locker room. You heard him on the mic'd up, man. He's like, yo, this is like the what did he say? The personalities, I guess. I think it was personalities. You heard him say about the personalities. He's like, but the thing I like about it most is the personalities are great, but we come to work, we work our ass off, and we go to business. Like, it's about business.
That's what's up.
And he physically said himself, it's not about money anymore. It's about winning and having fun.
I agree.
I'd like to see him back, man.
Yeah, man. I hope they find a way. So he's gonna be a free agent next year. That's what it is. Damn.
Yeah. Yep. It's a 1-year rental.
But you know how Kyle and them, you know how they do, man. You know how they do, yo.
When's the deadline to extend people? Is it week 10? Week 12? It's later in the season. I just can't remember what it is. You can work on extensions up to a certain point. I'm going to stall. I think Nick is going to look that up for us. I'm going to stall while we try to figure this out. But there's some guys that I would like to see extended for this season. I know that's not what the show is about, but
I would like Armstead extended.
Armstead is one of those guys I would like to see extended. Buckner, if possible, to get that extension worked out before the season's over.
So why do you? If I have a question about that, because I struggle with this, but why do you want Buckner extended now when he still has 1 more year left?
Because every year the cap goes up, his salary goes up.
Okay,
that's my only reason. Now I've been the guy saying we got Buckner for 2 more years. We got next year in the 5th year option. And that's not even counting tags and all that stuff. I'm not in no. This is Buckner's 4th year, right?
Right. So next year is
the 5th year option, and then there's the tag. That's what it is. I'm not one of those guys that want to like drag it out and all that stuff. But if we can get Buckner, and this is gonna sound super bad, but his numbers are down this year.
Oh snap! I just realized you said if we could get Buckner, you've been down. Yeah, just wow.
His numbers are down this year. So while he's not playing way up here,
try to sign him.
Write that contract. Right there, because if he was having that 12 and a half sack year like he had last year, oh my God. You got him, Bosa, Ford going crazy on the edges. Like, he's going to be like, hey, listen, man, you can argue that I'm the glue that's making this happen. He's probably still making that argument, but while the numbers say otherwise, pay that man. I'm thinking long term. I want to get him locked in now. So I like what I'm seeing from Armstead also. There's a couple of guys that are on their way out. I'm still on the fence. Y'all gonna kill me for this or not? I'm gonna save it for next show. It's a running back, but I'm on the fence about bringing him back or not. We'll talk about that next week.
I think you wait to sign Buckner because I think his production is going to be the same next year because of how they utilize him in this thing, and you use the money this year to bring Armstead back.
That's a good way to look at it as well.
That's what I was thinking. But I think his production might get better next year because they're gonna.
It doesn't have to get better. That's the thing. I'm just saying, like in terms of he's not going to get 12.5 sacks again.
Ever, not on this defense, not in this system,
right? In this system. So I think it's going to be the same way you use him, and either way, it's going to be the same amount of money. So you just use him on his 5th-year option, and then extend him next year. And this year, you extend or pay Armstead for another 2 to 5 years, whatever you plan on doing with him, 2 to 3 years, I guess.
3 year. I was thinking of a 3-year extension.
You can franchise tag Armstead too, as well as Buckner.
Right. We never use our tags, guys. Right.
Yeah, and then we'll see if they show up to camp because they were tagged.
You got our answer for the deadline to extend people throughout the regular season?
No, I couldn't find what week it was. I think it's week 12.
Let me see if I could. I can't. I think I don't know why 10 and 12 are sticking out in my head. Deadline to extend players NFL. Let's see if anything pops up here real quick.
Because it just keeps coming up with the franchise tag, with the tags.
Yeah, I see that right there. Franchise tag deadline. Oh, well, it's all good. Maybe you can work on extensions all year long. Maybe it's something that doesn't stop. Maybe it's something that doesn't stop. I know there's. Oh, you know what? I know there's a deadline to extend a player playing on the tag.
Oh, that's
maybe that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, you have a certain time for that. But like I said, I think it's you were right the first time. I think it's either week 10 or week 12. It's one of those weeks.
All right, guys. Anything else on the receiving and the passing game, the passing attack, man? You know, the one thing that I want to actually know, I'm gonna give it to you guys, and I'll go at the end. I'm sorry.
I just think that our passing attack is pretty much solid, man. Whether it's better numbers in the end from last season, yay or nay. As long as we continue to win and be successful, I think that's all that matters at this point. But hey, Jimmy, man, keep doing what you're doing. You're going out there showing that you're progressing and maturing as a quarterback, as a leader. And that's why your wide receivers and your team and your line and everybody wants to play because you bring this certain aura. So the passing game, I think, is definitely it's gonna go up, whether it's in yards or morale or whatever you want to call it. It's gonna continue to rise.
Absolutely. Nick, man, your final thoughts on the passing attack this year?
Look, I mean, I think it's better than what we had last year. Obviously, one reason being because of injuries. We didn't have a very healthy roster last year. This year, we did well with draft picks. Whether Debo has 3 drop passes or not, he's still going to be a future star on this team. He's still going to learn. He's going to get better. Same thing with Dante Pettis. I think now that Dante Pettis with an Emmanuel Sanders here, I believe he should get better. The Kendrick Bournes should get better. All these guys are better than what they were last year. Look, I know I get pissed off all the time about drop passes, right? But unless that pass really is a game, like for us to win the football game in the end zone and they can't come down with it, then it doesn't really matter because one pass isn't going to lose you the game or is not losing us games right now. I don't want to say it's not losing you a game because it's not losing us games right now. There are points where you get ticked off that somebody drops in the end zone or an open pass, but we haven't gotten to that point where that pass has cost us that game. I want a receiver to be able to go up and get the football and be physical, not fades. That's why I got so happy with a Jalen Hurd fade because Michael Crabtree did not try his hardest to go get those fades at all.
Or he just couldn't.
Right? So, But now you get guys like Jalen Hurd that go out and we haven't even seen him on the field yet. Even Debo Sanyo, he's going to get better in the physicality part of the game. Kendrick Bourne is going to get better in the physicality part of the game. We've seen Dante Pettis start to make that turn in the physicality of the game. We've seen that in George Kittle this year, being better with contested catches. We see that, right? So this team is on the uprise, and it's a big reason why we're 8-0 right now. And it's only going to get better. So
better.
I'm not surprised at the the step back in overall offensive production from the passing game, especially considering we've been without our starting tackles for as long as we have. I think that is something that plays into it as well. If I'm Kyle Shanahan and I got my franchise quarterback back there, I'm not dropping back unnecessarily, knowing that the edges aren't safe for him with Mike McGlinchey and Joe Staley out. That's another reason I think we might see an uptick going forward as well. The safeties are coming back. We got Kyle Juszczyk who can pick up blocks and things like that. Hopefully he's, getting better at that. But there's a lot of reasons to think that this offense, the passing offense in particular, will get better going forward. In addition to the closer games, the tighter games against, better competition and things like that. So I'm really, really excited. But one thing I will say that is drastically improved upon last year, the passing efficiency. When this team dropped back, what I didn't pull with a third down completion number, I probably should have pulled those numbers, but I can tell you guys right now that we are so much better on third downs. It's 3rd and 12, and I don't even hesitate. I have no fear when I watch Jimmy Garoppolo drop back on 3rd and moderate, 3rd and intermediate and 3rd and long. I don't worry about it. I remember I used to, when the Niners were bad, like when I'm talking Alex Smith, Troy Smith days, 3rd and 4, I'm like, yo, just punt the ball now. Like, don't even waste our time and make us watch this. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna drop back, he's gonna get sacked, or it's gonna be just punt the ball now. Like, let's punt from here, play the field position battle. Now, 3rd and 7, I'm like, yo, we got this. Like, this is our down. This is where Jimmy makes his money. So the efficiency is so much better, and it's evidenced by that 7.3 yards per attempt versus 6.7. You know what I mean? So,
yo, you got to remember, too, Mike, with that 7.3 yards per attempt, that's Kyle Shanahan's system. He's anywhere from the 5 to 10 range and yards after catch because they're so open. Like, that's his system.
Agreed.
We're not looking for 11, 19 yards per catch, right?
He's a guy that schemes plays for yak yards.
Right, and that's exactly what it is. So
that's what he did in Atlanta. Hey, man, you want to know how I feel about our third downs? I get up and go to the kitchen, and I come back knowing we got that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how confident I am.
Wait, so Mike, that's why he always comes in the room. Wait, what happened?
Well, you got to blow up my spot like we just got hot. Come on, kid. Come on, man.
The block is hot, baby. The block is hot.
The block is hot, baby. Oh, man. Yo, you hit that one on the head.
He's like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
I don't tell him next time. You should have stayed your ass and not went to
because I'm confident that the third down's gonna be successful, bro. Like it's a weird feeling. Like last year, butterflies in my stomach. I would turn the channel and then come back and be hoping we did it. Now I just go get some out the kitchen. I go do what I gotta do. I go to the grill. It's 3rd down, baby, no problem. 3rd and 13. We got this, yo. We just gonna do this pass. You're gonna throw for 13 yards. Matter of fact, not even gonna be a short pass. It's
right
crazy.
Yep, laser right at the sticks. Target. All you gotta do is fall forward. It's a first down, man. I love. It's a thing of beauty, man. We don't second guess it. I don't want to start taking it for granted because I remember the dark days. But damn, Jimmy and Kyle making it look easy out there, and it's with everybody. This is another reason I'm not so hard on the wide receivers because I've seen Samuel make that catch. I've seen Sanders. I've seen Pettis make that catch and Bourne. The only one I haven't seen do it this year like that is Richie James. I don't know where he's at in the passing game. I don't know what they're doing with my man, but
crickets.
So it is what it is, man. This is a lot of fun, fellas. I want to thank y'all and shout out to the viewers, man. I can't believe football is on right now and it's busy.
Yeah, they told that nothing but Niners is lit.
Y'all watching this right now. Salute to y'all, man. Y'all the real MVPs, man. Shout out to y'all. We do this for the replays, but shout out to the live crowd, man. I appreciate every single one of you guys that are out there watching right now, especially the loyal ones. I see some of the regulars, Ronnie Burton out there and Niner by Nate. I see these guys. Dre is out there hating. I see you, Dre, coming at. I see you, man. We got you, bro. We defending Bourne. We got you, bro. I see everybody out there, man. It's a lot of love. Hi, mama's daddy's almost done. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this thing up, fellas. Anything else? Any last remarks before we get up out of here? We good?
Once again, another big birthday shout out to Aria and another big birthday shout out to Debbie Deb. Or Zara, I'm sorry. What did I say?
Aria.
It's Zara. Yeah.
That's because Aria's is coming up real soon, like 3 weeks. So.
Yeah. So Zara's birthday. Big shout out to her. Uncle Nick loves you. Anyway, happy birthday, Miss Deb. Top Hat Deb. If y'all don't know her, give her a follow. All over the place.
Yeah.
Real cool people.
One of the best people I've met from the amongst the 49er faithful, man. She is awesome. There's some people that are out there with just that pure heart, and she is definitely one of them, man. I love that woman. So it's all good. Guys, we're gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys again for checking us out. You guys know all the details. This will be turned into a podcast. You guys give me about an hour and a half. I should be able to get this one done into a podcast. Maybe give me 2 hours because this is an hour long already, so it takes longer to process and edit. But we will be back for you guys, I promise. Make sure you got that notification bell turned on, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button so that way you know exactly when we are going live. We have another show coming breaking down the run game. Then we're going to do our mid-season MVPs and superlatives. So make sure you guys are locked in for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we definitely have the preview game for this big Monday night matchup. That's going to be the one where I expect to see a lot of us up here, a long full panel. It's going to be some arguing because this is a passion game right here. This is a game about principle and pride. We've been dying to take it to these Hawks, man. We know we did it last year with Nick. This is Jimmy Garoppolo's first time going against the Seahawks. Exactly. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a big game. So, guys, make sure you hit up the website. It is www.nothingbutniners.com, your one-stop shop for any and everything 49ers. We got an article that's going to be coming out in about 15, 20 minutes. We had one by Kev that already dropped. That is the keys to victory. And I'm also going to bring you guys my bold predictions as well. So make sure you guys are checking out the website for the articles. If you're there and you want to hit us up on the social media pages, the Twitter and the Snapchat are Nothing But 9 ERS. The Facebook and Instagram are Nothing But Niners, spelled all the way out. And we also going to see our podcast that's there, guys. I told you can't catch this whole video, can't watch the entire thing. We got you covered. Just subscribe to our podcast. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Google Play, SoundCloud, all that stuff. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, we are there. Just search for NB Niners or Nothing But Niners or NBN. Talk 49ers with NB Niners, I think is what the official title is. So you guys make sure you check that out as well. Whew, that is a lot, man. Guys, I'm done. We already know about the email, questions, comments, concerns, order requests for the shirts, pictures of you and your family in your game day attire. Send it all to nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. Where is that at? I got, oh, there it is right there. Boom. So you guys make sure you send the emails over there. And that is it, man. Speaking on behalf of my man Wayne, he is 49ers Breezie on Twitter. Speaking on behalf of my man Nick, he is 49er Faithful 365 on Twitter. And myself, 49ers Mike _NFL. We're all done. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
Faithful.
Sleep with your lights on.